Hi, everybody. Happy 2025. Michael André Ford here in Texas, just here to talk about love, openness, how you already have all the skills in the world, all the positivity, all the abilities, if we want to say psychic, intuitive, just your heart connecting to all there is. Um, it's always bigger than you think it is, no matter who the person is that's watching or someone that you know out there, whether they've never heard of Oprah or if they've been a 50-year indigenous healer, there's always room for growth and expansion. Love is a constant in and around us. The universe is very conscious. We're more conscious and able than we'll ever perceive because, again, the opportunity for growth and expansion never stops. It's really easy for humans to do some judging, thinking, reacting, reject stuff, fear, and something that I like to call mankind's current currency, judging or knowing that precludes possibility. It's what our science is rooted in currently. It's not listening, and it's not the broader knowledge that's available in any given moment. If you want to ask the universe a question, you can get an answer. All languages spoken, all dialects, tons of humor, tons of love. You'll feel it. It's like the Winnie the Pooh Piglet quote that I always say. Piglet asks Winnie the Pooh, "How do you spell love?" And Winnie the Pooh says, "You don't spell it, you feel it." And that's kind of the metaphor for this whole thing. There's anything that you have to do. Um, you don't have to be the teacher or role that you've been for 30 years. You don't have to do it that way. You can switch things up. You don't have to listen with your eyes closed to an angel. You don't have to do it with your eyes open. You don't have to look at a photo of an angel or see an angel with your eyes open or your mind's eye only this way. But I like to help people get it done always, so that if someone's really heavily dependent on shutting their eyes, they can do it with their eyes open and see full on, even right in front of you. But most of us need a further distance away. So I help people see, feel, hear angels, other beings of light, whether they're off-world, interdimensional, whatever you want to call it, um, from like Pleiades, Andromeda, Lyran, uh, folks from Orion, Sirius, and Pleiades, if I didn't already say that. Also, though, Greek, Roman figures, Native American, figures from India, maybe 30 of those, Durga, the Divine Mother, the Tiger, Vishnu, Krishna, Ganesh, Lakshmi, Rama, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, the one from 100 years ago, super cool. You get a full sensory experience. You can smell flowers, incense. You can get a hand on your shoulder. You can feel an angel hold your hand. You can close your eyes and have an interdimensional or dimensional experience. 7 minutes of our time is 10 or 15 minutes over there. Over there could be Hawaii, Tibet, Middle East, Thailand. It could be the Akashic Records. You can get a tour of the Akashic Records. I think that's kind of cool. Two angels who are all about knowledge. One's really good for real estate if you have to relocate, Carol. But there's two angels who will greet you. For some reason, the archangels will also give you a tour. That's super fun for some folks. So I guess what I'm talking about is there's no limits here. You already have it all within. And this isn't about doing anything. It isn't about um, roles, titles, failures, or accomplishment. All of those can get you stuck into the same pattern of rinse, repeat. The rat race, I guess, the one way I'd say it is actually in the mind. It's not the corporations. It's not external. It's not society. It's our own embracing of thinking and structure, rigidity, and not allowing the greater flow of life, nature, the universe to flow through us so we can be love and share love always. More of your moments can be peaceful. You can walk a smoother path. Technically, all moments can be the same. You can just have more love. If it's a cake, have your cake, eat it too. No calories in the cake, and you can share the cake with others. No calories for them. Every cake equals a smile. I like the non-linear way for all this. So I like to do a lot of zany things like blow sage through two screens or have you see light on your hands or you'll see angels just fly by. We've had a lot of balls of light. Did a recording yesterday, and I think there were 4 to 7 moments where angels and other loving figures popped in. But that also happened earlier in the week, and it's been happening the last few years or longer. I guess the other way I'd say this isn't about, again, knowing anything. So if you're coming in cold on the topic and you're like, wait, what's he talking about? Just know that you're not alone. You're heard. If I had to tell you like 2 or 3 things I think I've learned in 13 years, I'm a slow learner. Um, It's where you put your focus is where you put your focus, and how you spend your energy is how you spend it. You're going to constantly put your focus on spots, and you're going to constantly throw your energy out there. For most of us, we don't realize when we're doing thinking, it's a complete waste of energy. When you think about hugging your dog, you're not hugging your dog. When you think hardcore about stuff, most of it's a waste of energy. It's restrictive. It's technically negativity. You're judging stuff all the time. Science is really good at that. When you are creative and you think it's thinking, it's actually in your heart. You're being expansive. So there's a very fine line between wasting energy and being in your heart. The good news is it only takes 7% less thinking a day, according to an angel named Charlotte. I took photos of angels, actual angels, but you can just see directly. You can do this as a group, feel, hear, and see as a group. Kick me out of the way. There's my guardian angel. Hundreds and hundreds and or thousands of photos. But again, you can just see directly, so it kind of trumps everything. Historical photos will move. If you took Audrey Hepburn's photo, her eyebrow will go up, you'll get a smile. It's a great chance to meet your ego. It will say that didn't just happen. I didn't just see that. But the heart's like, ooh, pretty, do it again. Catch an uninvented perfume from Paris. Um, if there are no limits in life, maybe there are really no limits. That's what this is all about. You knew it as a kid. You knew it once in a while as an adult, but then adulting kicked in and the whole society thing and what Alan Watts is talking about. You can meet Alan Watts, you can meet Rumi, you can meet Einstein, Carl Jung, you can meet Elvis, Debbie Ford, and so on. Uh, the whole seriousness of our society, it's so based on the intellect. Science is way behind. You can have any answers to any questions. You just have to have the guts or balls to go here and actually just do some basic listening. And the good news is you're doing it all day long. You're actually listening to that inner voice all day long. Some of it's not that positive, but what do you think the good intuition's been for most of your life? It could be your aunt. I'd say at least half that intuition. Could be your aunt coming through, but if you heard your aunt's voice, you'd freak out. If you heard your primary angel's voice, you'd freak out. So it's better that it just stays your own voice. And all of this, toss it out. Toss out the woo-woo, the spiritual stuff. It's got to be according to your comfort zone. It's kind of like getting into a pool, whether you're at a pool party or just in your own backyard. Some of us don't like to get into a pool right away. Others cannonball right in. Everyone's different. Um, but this isn't about you have to do anything. This is about slowing down the doing. You already have all the skills in the world. Your ego, your intellect, society has done the best it can to convince you otherwise. So whether it comes to outright healing, that's between you and the universe, you, your higher self, your soul, you can see your soul. If it come when it comes down to answers or seeing light around you, that's just a function of letting go. So again, slow down the doing. There's nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Move past the negative. This is just broader. And I love what Big Mary said, love is a constant or love is everywhere. Open your eyes to find love. And we forget love. We forget the flow. We forget nature. We get caught up in trauma. We look in the rearview mirror a lot or look left, look right. The whole point is to ride, 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 as Geronimo would say, on your horse. And don't look left, don't look right, don't look back. Take your steps on your unique life path. Everyone has one of those. You can have that dusted off and revealed to you. You can get back on it. Angels will help you, can even alter your path, have a chat with them. And the horse is a metaphor for your heart. Took me weeks to figure that one out. Okay, so why don't we just stop the talking for a second and do the doing, which is what I love best. If I could sign a contract and I didn't have to talk most of the time, I'd do it because I think the doing is where the action is. It's kind of the Americans have to have the prove it thing. They got to get their answers. So the record's 49 pages of answers. Australians are great at this stuff. It was an Australian or 48 pages in 9 hours. This is for anything. Can you come up with a question? Get an answer. If you're prying into somebody else's business, that might be the one area you're told to move on. And if you want, ask for a ball of light to fly by while we're doing this. Or how about we do two and a blue one and a white one? Ask Charlotte and joy to fly by, or pink and blue. Okay, I'm lighting some sage. I've only got one rule or bit of structure, one official rule. That's set your intent. So this counts if you want. Hey, angels, get me out of my head, into my heart. Help me smell the sage being lit in Texas right now. It doesn't matter if it's 2 years in the future, you're in Berlin, Tokyo, Beijing, anywhere. Time and space doesn't exist quite the way you think it is. It does. Catch a little bit of sage, but let's go nonlinear. Why settle for just sage when you can have flowers? So close your eyes, catch flowers, let your angels, let your unconditional love, universal crew bring you some love. You catch flowers, and then you might as well see an ocean and see a beach. If it's Hawaii, have it flatter and longer and wider than normal in Hawaii. They can be shorter and more sloped. If you want to see an angel at the end of the beach, see Joy, blonde, 28 years old, waving high, looking like she's about to go surfing or kite surfing. And I'm just snubbing out the sage here. Um, what will you allow for is the real rub. That, if we ditch the woo 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 spiritual stuff, that's really the ultimate question. What are we all allowing for daily? Are we allowing for more? And odds are, nah, not really. You could be an international bestseller, best seminar giver ever with millions of people a year, but you get into the rinse repeat cycle, regardless of how successful you are, how unsuccessful you are. It's not about accomplishment or failure. It's about how often are you getting to hear. It's why meditation, mindfulness, just slowing down, call it taking a nap, is so fantastic daily. It can help kind of level the playing field and give you a fighting chance to get back to here, to breathe. And there's some great quotes from Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. If you want to meet him, I think he passed away in 1987 or so. He's just wonderful, Tibetan Buddhist monk. But he had some great quotes that were uh, about breathing and stuff like that he said in 2014. Here's one of them. Taking one breath is like taking one step. Both bring peace and harmony. I'll put up a couple photos of angels. Again, I grabbed a camera early on. Here's Joy. Here's my guardian angel, Min. We've had a lot of guests who have met her before, including one guest who got to meet her on a beach in California for 30 minutes as a human. Sat down, sparkly-eyed fun. Plato exists. You can see the old man's face in there. Fairies exist. There's a Jinn who's East Asian mysticism. He's fun. It's a really wide assortment of historical and other living figures. And, the brain can only handle so much for a short little while. And then there's the whole thing called processing. Processing can take years. It can take months. It can take weeks. It can take hours. You don't need processing. But I wouldn't tell anybody that because, again, what you think and the way you think how it is the most important. You have to have it your way. You have to do it your way. You have to have your own experience. And what I love about experience is experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. So at some point, the rub is the second rub, besides what are you allowing for daily? Are you happy? Are you smiling? Are you sharing love? Are you sharing your energy? The real rub is, are you getting it? Are you getting the bigger picture that that life and the universe are way bigger and way cooler than any movie out there and than any organization has portrayed it or any of our spiritual leaders out there have portrayed it. It's just easier also than anyone's portrayed it. You don't need a single book. You don't need my Listening to Angels book that's $7.99. An Amazon bestseller twice as a #2 bestseller. So #2 twice. Who's going to tell you they've been #2 twice? I will. It used to be $4.99. I asked for like 12 years. Can we raise the price? And finally, in 2024, Angels said, "Yeah, let's do it." So there's 7 photos of angels in there, technically more. It's the shortest book in the world, 15 minutes to read, 45 pages or so. It's a 1-page forward, 1-page intro, and when I say page, I mean electronic page. So like 5 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs. 3.5 pages on how to listen to angels. You're already doing listening all day long to your postman, your family member, your colleague. But it's undivided attention. You can't be like thinking about your laundry at home while you're chatting with someone at the supermarket. It's one act at a time. It's not being on your cell phone. Although this, for most people, is your actual Zen master these days. How much are you doing this? How much are you doing social media? If you wanted to take 2% of the time you spend on social media, you could quickly go past where Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Eckhart Tolle, Hollywood medium Tyler Henry are at combined. Your heart is that big. Your abilities are that unlimited. If you want to move an object by asking the universe to help you move an object, if you want to see light around you, see light on trees, see light on your dog, see light flowing between you and a loved one, probably a good idea that both of you see your auras. So I'll do that next. See your life force, your flow, consciousness itself, see the chakras, the human chakras flowing. I don't know what else to call it. Shakti, prana, mana. But once two people do it, they can play it. They can see their light flowing. It doesn't have to be through their hands. It could be heart to heart. And then you can always ask angels to make butterflies out of light or more sparkles and sparks. We do that all the time on my YouTube show. You've got to be here at the channel to be watching this. One day we'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and so on. And I'll hopefully have an editor for the shows and get these packaged up even better. But you'll see guests all the time taking steps on the show. Now, that's something that could easily get missed. So you want to make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment as you're watching the stuff. Emoji counts as a comment. But you get to participate. So usually towards the end of the show, I've got like out of 300 tapings by now. I think 170 shows or so are out. We've gone to 2 shows a week in 2025. We might go back to 3 or 4 in 2026, but I've got 331 shows booked with at least 250 tapings done on just the main show and probably closer to 300 for everything else. We have Mind, Body, Spirit panels, the APL Spotlight series, and so on. The point of this is really cool guests from all over the world, all sorts of backgrounds, doctors, psychologists, healers, White House physician to the US president. She was so cool. After the show, she got to take extra steps with the universe and reunite with someone very special. And that's also what it's the show is kind of like the tip of the iceberg. A lot more usually goes on before the show, after the show, or in the weeks or months ahead if I know the person, or later on. But you still get to see them often take steps with the universe. We've only had one guest insist on re-recording their show, and it was only because we blew a little bit of sage and did some other stuff. And there's only like 10 guests that didn't take any steps, and that's okay too. Everyone's where they're at. You're good how you are, and as soon as you can acknowledge that, you're off to the races. And the other thing that you need to maybe acknowledge, if you would, is just there's a huge difference between here and here. What are these things? The heart, your interconnectedness to all there is. It's what you rely on if you're an artist, a musician, an athlete. It's how you score 4 goals in a row, whether it was 6th grade last week, community soccer, you're a professional soccer star. Pele was here. The archer who can split 5 bullseyes or 5 arrows in a row, bullseye, 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 is here. You can't be up here thinking something and hit a good golf swing. It's called a shank. So thinking your way through any of this, trying to grasp, trying to process isn't going to help you, or it's going to slow things down. And you can take 40 years to try to process something or to grasp something that takes Joe or Sarah in London 2 seconds to do. It's, can you get out of here to get to here and transact with the universe? The answer is yes, but humans have 50 million or billion or trillion ways to avoid it. Intellect, reason, ego, fear, worry, doubt, all that knowledge that precludes possibility says it isn't so. And that we have to go have a scientific report and a panel, and we have to have proof this way for disclosure UAP. You want to go that route? You should. That's your prerogative, and absolutely the way it has to be at the word thinking level. But there's something beyond words. It's why there's a publishing company called Beyond Words, who's fantastic with all their different authors. We've had about 7 of those authors on. There's something bigger than that that every movie generally points to. I'm not kidding. If all literature, all film, all art points to whatever this is, the broader consciousness. Sure, there's negativity, but it's again back to where you're putting your focus. Most of us don't pay attention in the micro moments, how we're spending our energy. But what's really cool is half your day is unconscious. Like when you flip a light switch, you don't worry about it. You just flip a light switch. And the ego intellect is not strong or powerful enough to control everything you do. It only focuses on the big picture stuff that you think is important, that you get stressed about. It's not going to worry about a light switch or brushing your teeth. It's not going to obsess on whether you got that one tooth in the back brushing correctly 2 weeks ago on a Thursday night at 7 p.m. It's not going to keep you up for a week over that. It's not going to worry about stepping into a shower. You just step into a hot shower and you enjoy the shower. You might even sing. So you're letting go all the time at a level that meets the threshold of spirituality or woo-woo-woo or connecting to aliens or listening or being or feeling. It's just, you don't give yourself credit for any of this stuff. And that's actually the degree of difficulty for all this stuff. It's not someplace up here. It's not that intuitive person you see on the channel. It's not me. You already are an Olympian, like 25 gold medals for 5 Olympics in a row. You've already done it all. I don't know whether it's through your past lives or when you were a kid. Those past lives, I'd argue, are concurrent, but you already have all the ability in the world to let go. Letting go is letting go. It's the degree of difficulty for brushing your teeth, falling asleep at night, riding a bike, walking across a room, putting your jeans on. All those activities are the degree of difficulty for this stuff. Let's do some more doing. I'm going to show you my energy. But if you really want to like rock it out, after you see the flow of light between my fingers, it'll be white, gold, green. Celestine Prophecy, the movie that did it this way, but I've had a guest on from the 70s who said they were doing this before the movie existed. Plus, they do it this way in India. I'm going to have to stand up for this, but the good news is you get a dad joke. So do me a favor and just take a breath. Breathing and smiling is probably the best way to get there. Don't take anything too seriously. Meditating's great. Mindfulness is great. Reading a book's fine. Take a seminar somewhere. Watch a movie. Go for a walk. Hug a tree. Trees will speak with you. There's a million ways into your heart, but you got 40 million ways up here that speaks against it. Logos, science, society, even all the organizations dedicated to consciousness, spirituality, Zen, Buddhism, and so on, technically because they're an organization, they can get in their own way or get in your way of getting to here. It doesn't mean don't go join Hay House or don't go join IONS or the Tyler Henry Club. Do it all. Have fun. Go in any direction your heart takes you because there's a million routes to get to here. But at the end of the day, you still have to take your own steps and you still have to do this out of thinking into your heart and have more fun. Okay, here we go. I'm going to just show my light and one dad joke for you. I'll see if I can come up with a new one. What do you call a fish with no eye? I'm pointing at my left eye. Fish. Fish, drop the I. And what'd the fish with no eye say when he hit a wall? Damn. Okay. Just see a little light, electricity between my fingers. What do you see? If you could type that into the field, the comment thing. If you don't want to admit that you're seeing the light, just put 3 emojis. And once you've seen it, put a hand on your heart. Breathe extra through your mouth. I always say breathing through the mouth is the #1 way to drop into your body. Most of us are out of body doing thinking. We're in an unconscious slipstream around the globe, and you want to be more conscious. And 1 out of 50 people I have on the show insist that breathing through the mouth is bad. It can only be done through the nose. That's fine. But most folks I've found, 90% will say breathing through the mouth or have an easier time with that. Okay, ask the universe to come in and do extra. Fireworks, sparks, a flower, vortex between my fingers, geometric. See an animal, see a heart. If you want to see sparkles left and right all around the room, glitter in your room around you, let the universe, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, angels, galactic loving figures. Feel a lot of light come into the room. You won't have to vacuum later. If you do have to vacuum, you'll be the first one in 13 years. Write a comment that you had to vacuum the next day. Kidding. Okay, what will you allow for? Play that over. Really hit a subscribe button if you saw a like, if you saw a light. We're a super small channel right now, but it won't always be that way. This is something that just breaks the mind a little bit. So people have reactions. It happens all the time. There are religious folks who write in and they write really mean comments. We have the best filter system on YouTube, but it might as well be the Taliban writing in. They've got a very regimented mind and speak in a very negative way. But if the Taliban spoke or ISIS, it would be the exact same thing. Just swap out 2 words. So it's crazy how much humans can do thinking and hatred and judging and reacting in fear and worry. But I do the same thing if I watch the wrong news program or I react to something. Welcome to being human. It's every single one of us has done plenty of negativity and judging to small degrees daily, to large degrees. Your package didn't arrive, you lose it. It was something really important. The good news is let it all go. It's still going to happen next week. You can't help it. No one's perfect. Try to take a broader view that everyone is good where they are. Everyone has to have their own life experience. Everyone's somewhere on this learning curve of like unconsciousness, unlove, this stuff, knowing to the preclusion of possibility. The best scientists in the world with 50 PhDs, 400 research papers, 5,000 institutes they speak at yearly, and they're the #1 CNN expert on everything on TV about science. might not actually be here that much and might not know anything about what we're talking about. So they're welcome to, I always love donating time. I've been donating time. I mean, I gave it away for a whole 8 years. And if, you know, anyone can let go and experience more from the universe, you don't need me. And the number one way to just jumpstart the whole thing is quietly or out loud in your house if no one's around. Universe, hey, I have no idea what he's talking about, but I'm actually liking it. And I'll take a smooth transition path, especially during dream time, to more fun, more happiness, more sparkle, more zip, more surprises with nicer people, cooler career. Maybe I live in a warmer climate, have more fun, have my cake and eat it too. And especially my angels. They exist. Trust that this is so and it'll be so. You'll get your answers, your hugs, and much more. But you don't have to worry about, like, is there a right way to do the runway, takeoff or landing? Don't worry about the radar. You're letting angels help you out. You're letting the universe do its job. Bottom line is you're getting out of your own way to get into your heart and allow for the what's already going on for thousands of years or longer, obviously much longer. You're letting compassion come in. You could see milky white light everywhere. Here, we'll do a third exercise. I like to make it interesting, so I'm just going to put my hand up to the screen. It doesn't matter what year, month this is, what country you're in. But do me a favor. Exhale like a whale and throw finger paint everywhere for just 3 seconds. No one's watching you except all your relatives, angels, galactic beings, Carl Jung, Einstein, Buddha, and Kuan Yin. Make up some names. No pressure at all. Okay, so get yourself like loosey-goosey. If you need to put a hand on your heart and use the other hand, put up a hand to the screen, and I'm going to put my palm up. You're maybe feeling my highest vibe, not my negative Nelly side that's like, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost. They're out of the playoffs. I'm so upset. Not that side. Okay, put your hand up, feel my vibe, and then another opportunity. Do two emojis, space, two emojis if you don't want to admit that you felt something, but use adjectives and emojis if you felt something. I felt sparkle. I felt warmth. We'll do this for like 20 seconds this way, and then I'll do extra so you feel extra. And then you got to write another comment. Remember, the more comments that happen for a video, the video gets tagged as a better video and more people see it. So if you need a way to have an excuse to do emojis at least or a few words, know that when you do this, you're helping 3 more people see the video. So you don't have to contact anybody that you know to be like, hey, this guy's not only moves fast, talks crazy, but he helps people see light and meet angels and more. You can anonymously gift this to someone else just by doing a comment. So I really like this. Okay, feel what you can feel. Don't judge. But now I'm going to blow through my microphone up here. Catch a little Hawaii. If you have to close your eyes for this, that's fine. You'll hear my blowing, but catch a wind on your nose, sea spritz, ocean. If you have a better place, you like Bimini, you like the Seychelles, you like Baja, Mexico, whatever rocks your boat, floats your boat, toots your horn, ask for it. Let the universe deliver. See light on your eyelids when they're shut. I'm going to blow and move light, rainbow light your way. Catch rainbow light one way or the other. Sparkles in the room, feel it on your person. Close your eyes and just breathe extra. Unofficial rule, I should have told you this at the beginning. Whoops, I'm bad. Breathe through your mouth. Be in your body. Relax. No try. Don't cross your legs. Don't be tight. Don't scrunch and make a face. Just you already got this. You were doing this every day as a kid. Here comes another whoosh. Okay, I'm gonna put up a photo of an angel. Her name's Joy. She's Joy, duh. High peppy voice. What will you allow for is the real rub. What can you allow for? Most of us are pretty shut tight like an oyster. That's this, up in the brain, working 100 hours a week. We're an investment banker. Air traffic control. I've got no time for anything. I'm just chain smoking. The second you want to let go, let the universe come in. Universe will come in and remind you through heart attack, car crash, divorce, just, or minor stuff, flat tire to slow your roll. So the good news is one way or the other, you're going to get expansion or at least a reminder that there's more to life. Okay, put your palm out and feel Joy like she's a fireplace. Feel what you can feel in your palms. If you need to get up and do a hokey pokey and then sit back down to loosen up, you'll definitely be laughing at the very least, but you should be more open than you were 5 seconds ago. So shut tight like an oyster, the world is your oyster. No one's ever said that before on a video, except for me 2 days ago. Okay. Feel what you can feel. Ask her a question, get an answer, get a hug. I'm going to put this down. You can pause it, or you can go back. Um, Ask her, hey, Joy, what do I need to know in life? You can do it out loud. A lot of people have to listen this way with their eyes shut. A lot of people, I did this for the first like 6 months, a year, maybe longer. Hey, Joy, what do I need to know in life right now? Then I'd hear my answer. I mean, I got over looking up at some point. It's the same thing with all this. You don't have to have your eyes closed, open. People get very set in the way they do it, especially traditional healers. That's fine. But if you are a Hindu healer, you can still pick up the shamanic thing from Brazil. If you're Brazilian shamanic healer, you can pick up the Hindu thing or Tibetan thing or breath work or Kundalini chakra opening. It's all the same at a broader level. Love is love. Details are details. Humans love details. And I want you to have your details and get any answers to any questions. So to that, I better plug myself. Services on my website. Go to michaelandreford.com. I've revamped the services. 13 years ago, I offered a 5-hour session. And at some point, a couple of years later, I'm like, no more 5 hours. I can't handle that. That's too much. 4 hours. And then 3 hours. I just got rid of the 3 hours. We're down to just 1 hour session only. There's a little 15-minute session that I usually sneak in a little extra time. So it's like 20 minutes. You get to see auras and play around with light. That's just for people who are either timid and are on a super budget or they just want to see light. And then there's two bigger things. There's I think it's an 8-week session, 90 minutes each. So 12 hours total at the best rate if you want to stay solo in doing all this. So it's spread out. It takes a lot of guts to sign up for 12 weeks, 8 weeks for 90 minutes each, 12 hours total. Once you do a little bit of opening like this, there's a huge part of the brain, the ego, that's like Julie McCoy from Love Boat. It's your ego that wants to control everything. It's like, oh, hey, this was really interesting, but never again. Or we'll start 2 weeks from now. And then 2 years goes by and you realize you never started. Welcome to, meeting your ego. You can tame your ego. You can put it in the back seat of the jalopy and actually let your heart be the driver. That's your natural state of affairs. The fourth service on the website is something for 4 people. It's 2 hours total. All 4 of you are responsible for showing up at the same time. There's no refunds on that one. But I give you 2 hours of full-on, full service, and I think it comes out to around $87 an hour for the 2 hours for each person. So it's the best bang for the buck, but you do have to have 3 stalwart friends who can actually show and stay the course, and you'll have the most fun ever. You get to do group feeling, hearing, seeing as a bonus as well. My little book, probably the best way to go. Grab that. If you think I wrote it, that's hilarious. Thank you. You're sending me the best compliment ever. But I saw balls of light as I typed, and here are some of those. This is the book cover, the photograph. That's the silhouette, the whitish one, Min, and then Charlotte's the blue ball light. So this is all way bigger than we realize. You can get answers also beyond words as a symphony of light coming in. You can get symbols, if you want to call that, a frequency transmission. People have been getting frequency transmissions that are worth 3 days, 11 days, 14 days of Joe Dispenza, or you could call it Shaktipat. You can get Shaktipat instead of working in an ashram for 10 years in India, sweeping, checking in guests, cooking, doing other stuff. You can cut to the chase. And if it's a Hershey's chocolate bar, 12 pieces, you can get anywhere from 3 pieces to all 12. It's between you and angels. Same thing with healing. Colorblind people have seen color. You can get a cold healed, but some stuff's written. So you have to have a private conversation. I don't hear your medical condition. I don't hear if it's possible. I stay out of it. I do the introductions, and then you hear where the parameters are. Sometimes it's written, you signed up for it, or it really is meant to slow you down. Other times it's totally fixable or addressable. And then for a deep thinker, you need 200 hugs from angels for what a loosey-goosey person can get done in 7 hugs. We're all somewhere every single day. Like I could be that 200 hug person tomorrow because I'm all stressed out about something, the cable bill. Or I could be the most loose person on Wednesday because I'm just happy and being me, and it takes 5 hugs to get it done. So we're all vacillating between here and here. If it's Christmas Carol, we're all Scrooge. But we just, the extreme is the beginning of the story and the end of the story. The end of the story, Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge is the nicest man in the world, a joy bringer, still does great business. He's plugged in. His field is so far out that if you're walking downtown London, you would want to cross the street to go greet him. And every person he speaks with, sparkly eyes, and you feel like you're really connected to him, and you just have his total attention when you're talking with him. He's a joy. Um, but then there's one more up here, and that's also Scrooge at the beginning of the book. You're a morsel of cheese, a figment of my imagination. That's intellect denying what is already within and around us. It's very interdimensional. Just by moving your hand across the sky, the room, the air, you can interact with the universe, see light coming off your hand, light coming into your hand, hear music from the galaxy, do interdimensionality. Angels are big, all different sizes, shapes, colors, with all different purposes, all unconditional love, not here to interfere. So if you take away one thing from this whole thing, all you have to do is set your intent to be like, hey, I don't know about anything you just talked about, but I could use a little more love, a little more protection, a little more fun, a little more expansion, a little more humor. Angels, I want you to be around me 24/7 from here on out. That's it. And be like, hey, dream time, I can handle it on a beach in Martinique or Anguilla, lounge chair, let's chat. My guardian angel, and I'll take Einstein. I'd love to have them come in, whether I remember the dream or I don't. Oh, I'm the type that never remembers dreams. Help me remember this dream. And have a pen and paper around. That'd be an unofficial third rule. A lot of people like to use a lot of phrases, orbs, or I forget the type of writing, automatic writing. They call stuff automatic writing or orbs. I feel like those are so limiting as terms. Sure, I don't blame anybody for calling this an orb, but what happens when it's Plato's face, or what happens when it's a silhouette of an angel, or what happens when it's not that shape? It's four balls of light. That's Rebecca, one of my business managers, along with Charlotte and Archangel Michael. But I'm trying to get to a different shape. Obviously, circular, so the orb community is going to be thrilled. Here's Dale, and they've got origin stories. Angels, he came from Andromeda originally, way back. There's an angel who makes hearts in her photos. They're all over my website. Here's four archangels, rainbow pie slices, and there's three more off camera. I cropped it. There's Michael one way, but I've got Michael a bunch of ways. So it's not any one shape. If I brought up the fairy Ginger, you can look at the website. That would break open the whole concept of orbs, because she's in 7 different forms that all are like shapes, figures, like a fairy figure. But she doesn't just show in one way. And then if you want to get to the seeing full on, I mean, Ginger can show as a 14-year-old 10 houses down the street waving hi, pop out fairy wings, turn into a ball light, all in 3 seconds flat. And then your brain, your societal side, your PhD side, your master side, your intellect side, your ego will completely get dumbfounded, struck dumb. Your jaw will drop, and you'll be like, what did I just see? And it's done with a lot of Disney special effects. So Audrey Hepburn's wonderful. I mentioned her earlier. This will probably be to wrap it all up. She's super fun. Historical photo. We know photos can't move unless you watch a Harry Potter movie and it's that newspaper photo. Those move. Kind of cool. But photos can move. There's absolutely no limits in life except for science, the whole community in science that says the world is flat. We're in that stage all over again. The world is flat. It can only be discovered this way. It takes 10 years to do the research papers. I've had more scientists who look at this and then don't say anything and move on. And that's okay. And everyone's good where they are. So sometimes it has to be a very personal thing, the middle of the night, a health crisis, the divorce. You get introspective when you're 75, sitting on the chair. You have to be willing to actually want to listen. And it's not to me. I'm not telling you anything. That's the other difference. There's a huge part of the healer community. I'm going to say 80% upwards, maybe 100%, 90%, that wants to tell you something. And here I am talking the whole time because it's a video. It would be weird if I just sat here and didn't. But if I could not tell you a thing, I'd do it. And I'm not here to do your listening for you and tell you anything. I help you do your own listening. So you're a full-on channeler. You're a full-on psychic medium healer. You're a full-on Kundalini expert. You're a full-on, I have lost all the other terminology, but Native American chiefs are cool. They deliver the answers very gently, but the way you need to hear it. And all you have to do is have one of these, a pad of paper, And that's just to write things down. I mean, write a few questions down, walk away. Get that book, Listening to Angels. Almost got into the top 10 the other day. I forgot, I might have. I have no idea. I know that when I checked in late, a day late, it was at 19 overall. So maybe we were number one briefly, but I don't want to bust that two times number two thing. Okay, Audrey Hepburn and Angel. I've never heard of her not showing when you go to see her dressed to the nines. She loves being dressed to the nines. She loves doing sparkles. She's half grace in the moment, half sparkle in the moment. Okay, here she is. Give yourself a break, breathe extra, put a hand on your heart if you need help. Let her move, wink, smile in the photograph, shoulder waggle, nose wiggle. Meanwhile, ask her a question, get an answer, get a hug. Feel her hand on the small of your back. See glitter in the room around you. Catch an uninvented perfume from Milan or Paris. Paris. If you want to hear ocean waves, if you want to close your eyes now, if you've already gotten the movement in the photo, put a hand out to the photo. Treat her like a fireplace. Put on music, classical music at home, hear her voice come in, pause this, play it back. Time for emojis galore. If you can do spaced out emojis like emoji space, emoji space, emoji space, emoji space, no one's going to know that that signals you got it done with Audrey. Meanwhile, just stick a lot of emojis in. Or, hey, wunderbar. What will you allow for daily? That's the rub. You can forget the woo-woo, the galactic, the love, the Shakti pot, the Hershey's chocolate bar of love. What are you allowing for? I'm just going to tell you a dad joke to leave it off here. Allow for at least a little bit more breathing, smiling, relaxing, laughter, dancing for no reason, feeling good for no reason. And exercise is compassion too. So get jiggy with that. Put on those running shoes or at least go for a walk. Get out in nature. Everything, the whole universe, will do the alchemist to close out. The whole universe will conspire to work with you if you simply slap that hand on the heart and say, let's rock and roll. Let's do it, universe. Angels, I have no idea what he was talking about. And I don't know how to follow Oprah, Super Soul Sunday, Eckhart Tolle, Don Miguel Ruiz, Four Agreements, wonderful book. Even Peaceful Warrior, my suggested reading list on my website's awesome. It's got tons of movies, books. I love movies the most because they're the quickest and they're most fun and artistic. So there's a bunch of movie suggestions in there. You don't have to know anything. And in fact, this isn't about knowing, but less knowing, less doing. Stop the doing altogether. And when you stop the doing, eventually your oil tanker, 10 miles later, starts to get down to 2 miles an hour. And at some point, you're able to just go full stop. And that's when the universe is like, oh my God, we've waited a decade for this. And they can reach you. You just have to pay attention. Listen. Be aware of how you're spending your energy. Is it love or unlove? Unconscious slipstream around the globe that we're all plugged into, especially when we're on social media? Or is it the sparkly, shiny, pre-crazy Disney stuff? The Disney we all knew from the 70s that was love and fun. Is the Disney CGI sparkly stuff that we all fondly remember. Okay, Michael André Ford in Texas. Have fun. Let go. You don't have to do anything. Stop that doing. But ask angels to help. Ask for a little intervention. It can be on your own terms. Ask for intervention while you sleep, while you walk outdoors, while you hug your dog. There's a million ways to get to here, and only you can do your figuring out. So get figuring. Thank you. Happy 2025.